Good evening, you're now with me, Handy Gui for TVS Nightline, and here are the headlines for tonight. International Court of Justice orders Israel to take all measures within its power to prevent acts of genocide. Former Senate President Tun Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar appointed as 8th Sarawak Governor. And updates on Malaysian citizens stranded in the Philippines. The World Court on Friday ordered Israel to take all measures within its power to prevent acts of genocide as it wages war against Hamas militants in the Gaza Strip. The court said Israel must ensure its forces do not commit genocide and take measures to improve the humanitarian situation for Palestinians in the enclave. The court did not rule on the core of the case brought by South Africa, whether genocide has occurred in Gaza, but it recognized the rights of Palestinians in Gaza to be protected from the acts of genocide.
In bringing the case to the International Court of Justice (ICJ), South Africa has requested an immediate halt to Israel's military operation, which has laid waste to much of the enclave and killed more than 25,000 Palestinians. The court did not grant that. Israel has asked the court to reject the case outright, saying it respects international law and has a right to defend itself. South Africa argued 2 weeks ago that Israel's aerial and ground offensive was aimed to bring about the destruction of the population of Gaza. Israel unleashed its war in Gaza after a cross-border rampage on October 7th by Hamas militants. Israeli officials said 1,200 people were killed, mostly civilians, and 240 taken hostage.
Former Senate President Tun Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar has been appointed as the 8th Yang di-Pertuan Negeri Sarawak effective today. He received the instrument of appointment from Yang di-Pertuan Agong, Al-Sultan Abdullah Ri'atuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah in a ceremony at Istana Negara this morning. Wan Junaidi was appointed Yang di-Pertuan Negeri of Sarawak by Article 1 of the Sarawak Constitution for 4 years effective today until January 26, 2028. Replacing Tun Pehin Sri Abdul Taib Mahmud, who held the post for 3 terms since 2014. The ceremony was also attended by Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim and Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. At the ceremony, Wan Junaidi was also conferred the Sri Maharaja Mangku Negara Award, which carries the title Tun. He's scheduled to take his oath on Monday at the Sarawak Legislative Assembly building. Now, efforts are underway to expedite the return of Defarisha and her 2 children, Aurora AZ and Arwa AZ, swiftly resolving their prolonged stay in the Philippines since 2019. 25-year-old Dewi is stranded in Manila due to financial constraints after her mother's return to Sarawak, where Dewi subsequently gave birth to 2 children in 2021 and 2023. The Minister of Women's Development, Children and Community Welfare of Sarawak, Datuk Sri Fatimah Abdullah, said on January 19th, the Malaysian Embassy in Manila convened a meeting with the Chief of the Tourist Visa Unit at the Bureau of Immigration BI Philippines, Raymond D. Remigio. The discussion focused on the case of Defarisha and her family.
Fatima pointed out that the embassy assured a motion for reconsideration, allowing applicants to seek exemption from penalty fees due to overstaying without facing blacklisting. However, a recent response indicated that the application, under the jurisdiction of the Bureau of Immigration Commissioner, presented 2 available options.
Jadi ada 2 option. Satu, bayar sepenuhnya penalti iaitu RM29,429. Atau satu, sikit lagi, Dewi sebenarnya boleh juga memilih tidak untuk membayar penalti. Jadi boleh keluar tetapi akan disenarai hitam dan tidak boleh masuk ke Filipina lagi. Jadi Dewi memaklumkan kepada pihak Malawakil bahawa akan berbincang dengan kita lah, ya, dengan keluarga di Malaysia, apa keputusan yang hendak diambil ni. But anyway, ini adalah perbincangan bahawa pihak immigration tu.
She spoke to reporters during a press conference at Baitul Makmur earlier today. Fatima said the penalty amount has been reduced to 144,824 pesos or 12,249 ringgit, with a 100% exemption for her two children, courtesy of the strong diplomatic ties between Malaysia and the Philippines. Concerning Dewi's children, she said the Malaysian embassy has issued an emergency certificate, thus making it easier for them to return home. Fatima extended her appreciation to Deputy Prime Minister Dato Sri Fadilah Yusof, Sarawak volunteers, and the Malaysian and Philippine embassies for their support. Dewi and her children have been relocated by the Malaysian embassy to a secure temporary residence at Berjaya Hotel in Makati City. Also present were a representative from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Malaysia, Albany Basir from Sarawak Regional Office, and Defarisha's mother, Cheryl Balisia.
Sarawak has recorded another 3 rabies-related deaths in January, a grim figure to the start of the year. Sarawak Health Director Dr. Ui Chu Hock said the incidents were recorded between January 9 to 20th, with 2 cases reported in Kuching and 1 in Bintulu. With the latest figure, the rabies fatalities in Sarawak now stands at 71 out of 78 cases reported since it was declared in 2017.
The first case involved a 39-year-old woman from Kuching who died on January 9, 2024. She was reported to have been bitten by a wild dog in her housing area in December 2023. The second patient was a 61-year-old man in Bintulu who was scratched by his pet dog and cat last year, which roamed freely and were not vaccinated against rabies. Meanwhile, the last victim was a 42-year-old man who was bitten and scratched by his pet cat, which was among the 10 cats he kept and allowed to mingle freely with strays in October. Dr. Oy said none of the victims sought immediate treatment or anti-rabies vaccinations at any healthcare facility after being bitten or scratched by animals. Overall, Dr. Oy pointed out since 2017 until the third epidemiological week in 2024, over 52,000 cases of dog bites and 43,000 cases of cat bites were reported. Thus, he also advised the public to seek treatment at the nearest health facility should they be bitten or scratched by dogs or cats.
Following the latest casualties, the Sarawak government is recruiting over 394 Army veterans to assist the Immune Belt Enforcement Team IBET in its fight against rabies. Deputy Premier, who is also Sarawak Disaster Management Committee SDMC Chairman, Dato' Amar Douglas Ugah Mbas said the veterans would be stationed along the Malaysia-Indonesia border, where instances of diseases are more prevalent, acting as the first responders in remote and rural areas from Lundu to Bacalalan.
In this IBET, Immune Belt Enforcement Team juga membantu apabila ada berlaku bencana di kawasan-kawasan pendalaman, especially on rabies as well as on other infectious disease, as well as a first line of response whenever there was disaster di kawasan pendalaman, khususnya di border. You know, the border very far. It will take time for the agency or department sampai ke situ apabila ada berlaku banjir ke, kebakaran ke, ribut tiupan ke. But they are there to come up to assist in the first responder. Not to discredit di sebelah sana, but we found out the rabies banyak yang dibawa dari sana. Of course they don't agree lah, but we notice dan anjing kita pun pergi ke sana. Kalau anjing tidak tahu mana border, so bila dia pergi ke sana, then balik, then they one can bawa penyakit rabies ini.
In addition, Uga said the veterans would also help to combat other infectious diseases such as the African swine fever or ASF. He remarked that the IBAT initiative has been effective in containing the spread of the rabies virus with an impressive 92% rabies vaccination rate.
Road users are advised to stay vigilant when driving back to their hometowns during the festive season. Sarawak Transport Minister Dato Sri Lee Kim Chin said traffic volume is expected to increase during the festive season, leading to increased risk of accidents.
Bagi kategori kemalangan maut tahun 2022 ya sepanjang tahun ialah 344 kes, tahun 2023 378 tambah 34 kes dan peratusannya meningkat 9.9%.
He was met by reporters during the state-level road safety program in Sarawak in conjunction with the Chinese New Year celebration at Petronas Pujut 7 Station, Miri, earlier today. Lee, who is also Senadin Assemblyman, said as of January 25, 2024 in Miri Division, 4 fatal accidents were recorded compared to 6 fatal accidents in December 2023. This figure represents a 50% reduction in death toll recorded in Miri during that period.
The Kuching South City Council MBKS has unveiled its Chinese New Year music video this year entitled Let's Get Together. The music video showcases the harmony between ethnic groups in Sarawak, celebrating the unity in diversity of Sarawakians.
The music video was written and composed by a famous local musician, Ang Chi Chiang, and co-produced by local musician Sim Kok Hao in the fusion of traditional Sarawak instruments with a Chinese New Year theme song, which represents the unique way of celebrating festive celebrations and the culture of Sarawak. The song also includes various award-winning singers from Kuching Got Talent, alongside MBKS Mayor Dato' Wee Hong Seng, who also took part in the song. The production featured many backing talent, involving not only students from Chonghua primary schools, but also the sape and percussion performances from Sim Kok Hao Music School. According to Dato' Wee, the purpose of the music video is to showcase the atmosphere of Chinese New Year in Kuching through the relaxed and cheerful melody of Let's Get Together. The music video premiered last Saturday and quickly gained momentum on YouTube. To date, it has accumulated more than 35,000 views.
The Sarawak Mata Travel Fair 2024, organised by the Malaysian Association of Tour and Travel Agents MATA, is set to take place from 8 to 10 March at the Hills in Kuching. Chairman of MATA Sarawak Chapter, Oscar Chu, said the participation of travel agencies for this year's fair has increased by 50% compared to 2023.
The last Mata Fair we had 46, and this year we have 71, more than about 50% increase. Mostly are locally, mostly are from local agents here. We support our members. As usual, of course, we will definitely be inviting the Minister of Tourism, Dato' Karim, to come and officiate lah. But then we do not know whether or not he will be available on that day. Tapi dia akan delegate lah kalau dia tak datang.
He told this to reporters during a press conference for Sarawak Mata Travel Fair 2024 today. According to him, the admission to the 3-day exhibition is free for the public starting from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Oscar also announced that among the exciting activities this year is a lucky draw, in addition to offering new travel packages and destinations. The public can participate in the lucky draw, and information about the draw will be announced during the second press conference a week before the fair. Coming up right after the break, Anwar announces special allocation amounting to 5 million ringgit to the Football Association of Malaysia. And payment for Phase 1 of the Sumbangan Tunai Rama STR will begin next Monday. Right here on TVS Nightline. Stay tuned. further and welcome back. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim announced a special allocation amounting 5 million ringgit to the Football Association of Malaysia (FAM) to manage and enhance the capabilities of the national football squad. The special allocation is in recognition of the rousing performance by Harimau Malaya in the 2023 Asian Cup in Doha, Qatar last night, which saw the national squad score a 3-3 draw against the formidable South Korea in the final Group E match.
He said the allocation will be dispersed soon to ensure that FAM can effectively improve the performance of the team.
Dan kerana menunjukkan semangat sedemikian atas pertimbangan Menteri Belia dan Sukan, kerajaan telah bersetuju meluluskan tambahan 5 juta ringgit kepada FAM supaya dapat mengurus pasukan bola dan meningkatkan keupayaan mereka. Pastikan Harimau Malaya malam tadi dan menunjukkan keupayaan, kesungguhan, semangat mereka tidak kental walaupun tidak lusuh, walaupun setelah kalah dalam 2 pertarungan, tapi nampak menunjukkan satu perlawanan yang sangat menakjubkan dan hebat bertarung dengan satu pasukan yang kuat Korea Selatan. Jadi saya ucapkan tahniah kepada mereka.
The revision on the pension scheme for civil servants will also apply to all future political appointments. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said that he has agreed in principle that any decisions made regarding the civil service will similarly apply to political appointees. Anwar, who is also the finance minister, disclosed that the government will look into how the proposed new salary and pension schemes will affect future heads of government, including the state governments and ministers.
Ada keputusan yang ditetapkan bagi penjawat awam akan terpakai juga kepada ahli politik. Maknanya kalau kita mula pada 1 Februari 2024, semua kemasukan baru itu tidak berpencen, maka itu juga sama untuk semua pelantikan baru ahli politik. Pada prinsipnya saya bersetuju supaya apa saja keputusan yang dibuat untuk perkhidmatan awam terpakai bagi pelantikan politik. Tapi dimuktamadkan setelah kajian dibawa, Jemaah Menteri memutuskan.
Anwar also pointed out that whatever salary and pension scheme is decided for public sector workers will also apply to all political appointees to government-linked companies. He was commenting on Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi's remarks last Wednesday that newly appointed civil servants will no longer receive pensions under the current government scheme, but through contributions to the Employees Provident Fund (EPF) and the Social Security Organisations (SOCSO). Previously, Zahid announced the government would have to spend some 120 billion ringgit to cover pension payments by 2040 if a new salary scheme for public sector hires is not introduced. Zahid reiterated that the government will introduce a new civil service hiring policy, which will include a new pension scheme. The net energy metering (NEM) program will continue with an additional quota of 100 megawatts for NEM Rakyat and 300 megawatts for NEM Nova as part of the implementation of the Integrated Clean Energy Program this year. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadila Yusof said the quota offer period is set until December 2024 or until the allocated quota is exhausted, and applications can be submitted from February 5th through the e-NEM system on the Sustainable Energy Development Authority website. Besides NEM, Fadila, who is also Energy Transition and Public Utilities Minister, disclosed that the program will enable at least 25,000 domestic users and 100 users in the commercial and industrial categories to utilize the roof space of their buildings for electricity generation for self-consumption through the installation of photovoltaic solar systems (PV). Meanwhile, he revealed that the large-scale solar LSS program for the development of solar power plants with a quota offer of 2,000 megawatts will be open starting April 1st with the sale of requests for proposal RFP documents by the Energy Commission (ST). Several updates would be made to enhance the success of the LSS program, including the creation of a special category for the development of floating solar power plants with a quota of 500 megawatts and an increase in the participation limit for a company up to 500 megawatts. At the same time, Fadilah added that the low-carbon energy generation program, through the new Enhanced Dispatch Arrangement NIDA mechanism, would be implemented with a total quota of 400 megawatts to open up opportunities for participation in the development of generation projects from non-solar sources such as wind, small hydro, biogas, biomass, hydrogen, and so on. Participation in this program is based on a first-come, first-served basis, and applications can be submitted from February 5th through the single buyer website on the screen shown. The payment for Phase 1 of the Sumbangan Tunai Ramah STR to 8.2 million recipients will begin next Monday, January 29th. The Ministry of Finance in a statement today said recipients who have registered on STR's database will receive their payments either through their bank accounts or by cash at Bank Simpanan national branches in stages, with the amounts varying based on the recipient's eligibility. The Ministry of Finance said the government has raised the maximum payment for Phase 1 of the STR to 500 ringgit for households from 300 ringgit the year before to assist the rakyat with the rise in living cost. Meanwhile, recipients from the household category with income less than 2,500 ringgit will receive 500 ringgit, while the household category with income between 2,501 ringgit and 5,000 ringgit will be eligible to receive between 100 ringgit and 300 ringgit. Senior citizens with no spouse and single individuals will receive 150 ringgit and 100 ringgit respectively. The Malaysian real estate market continues to record an upward trend with a strong impact on the country's overall gross domestic product GDP, which is expected to grow 4.2% in 2024. This, among others, is driven by strategic government initiative, robust infrastructure development, and the burgeoning investment opportunities. Sean Said, chief economist at JUNAIDI IQI, said, based on the country's total property transaction value, which recorded an upward trend, the real estate sector promises not only to bolster the economy, but also to redefine the nation's developmental landscape.
I think if you analyze 2023, the transaction volume went up by 1.4% in Malaysia, and the valuation went up by 3.5%. This clearly indicates that the market is still very bullish. Overall sentiments on the ground, they are quite buoyant. So I think we at JUNAIDI IQI continue to believe that Malaysian real estate market will have an uptrend for the next 3 to 4 years. The government continues to have a very accommodative policy for the real estate market because it believes the real estate market has got strong impact on the overall GDP.
Meanwhile, this optimism is further buoyed with the market remaining firmly on the radar of global investors, with particular focus on the residential sector. Sean said the recent trends indicate a surge in logistics and data center developments driven by major corporations relocating to ASEAN countries. Commenting further, he said the establishment of logistics centers and data centers has been a significant driver of investment.
The real estate market continues to be on the global investors' radar, especially in the residential space. In terms of logistics, a lot of big companies are relocating to ASEAN countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam continues to benefit from those relocation. We believe that logistics sector, data centers are setting up in this part of the world. So logistics, e-commerce and data centers would be some of the hot areas where investors would be looking at. Overall residential market, we witnessed 15% growth at JUNAIDI IQI last year, which is quite big. And we continue to believe that this market will continue to stay strong for the next 3 to 4 years.
As such, he said the real estate industry plays a pivotal role as Malaysia positions itself as a hub for businesses looking to capitalize on the ASEAN market. Britain's King Charles went into hospital on Friday to have planned treatment to address an enlarged prostate. The King was pictured arriving with his wife, Queen Camilla, at the private London clinic in West London, where his daughter-in-law, Kate, the Princess of Wales, is also having treatment after undergoing abdominal surgery last week.
Buckingham Palace, in a statement earlier today, said the King thanks all those who have sent good wishes over the past week and is delighted to learn that his diagnosis is having a positive impact on public health awareness. Last week, the palace said that 75-year-old Charles would undergo a corrective procedure for a benign condition which was common among men over 50. The palace has declined to say how long the King would stay in hospital, but his upcoming public engagements have been postponed to allow a short period of recuperation. Britain's royals usually do not disclose details of illnesses regarding all medical issues as a private matter, but Charles was keen to share details of his condition to encourage other men experiencing symptoms to have a medical check. The state-run National Health Service said there had been a 1,000% increase in visits to its webpage giving advice on prostate enlargement since Charles' diagnosis was revealed.
A former member of a Japanese radical leftist group who was behind deadly bomb attacks in 1970s may finally be caught after almost 50 years on the run. Now 70, Satoshi Kirishima's youthful, bespectacled and long-haired mugshot was featured on wanted posters outside police stations across Japan for decades. According to local media, police were still trying to confirm his identity, but on Thursday, a man believed to be Kirishima was detained at a hospital west of Tokyo.
Local broadcaster NHK said the man who checked into hospital under another name is terminally ill with cancer, and while receiving treatment, he confessed that he was Kirishima. However, police declined to comment. Kirishima was a member of the East Asia Anti-Japan Armed Front, which in the 1970s orchestrated a series of fatal bomb attacks on corporate behemoths. In one on Mitsubishi Heavy Industries in 1974, 8 people were killed. The National Police Agency says on its website that Kirishima violated criminal regulations to control explosives and is wanted for serial bombings of companies in Tokyo in 1975. In particular, he was wanted for allegedly helping set up a handmade bomb that blasted away parts of a building in Tokyo's upscale Ginza district in April 1975.
Those were the updates on TVS Nightline tonight. I'm Handy Gree. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.